Hello, good morning and welcome to the Camnet Community Breakfast Show today, 7th February 2022. I am your host, Zipram Chala, and I'm joined by my co-host, Alex Shimba. Today we're going to be talking about the topical issue of mining in the Lower Zambezi. We've heard different stakeholders from the NGO and also NGO world and also politicians debating on whether mining should be allowed in the Lower Zambezi. We're going to have Mr. Emmanuel Tembo, who is the area MP for Kwera constituency, who's going to join us to discuss the issue of mining in the Lower Zambezi. We are also going to open the phone lines to you, our viewers, so that you can give us your view on whether you feel mining should be allowed in the Lower Zambezi or not. And later we're going to have someone to help us discuss the price of commodities in Zambia, mainly focusing on mini mill. I'm with my co-host Alex Shimba. Alex, good morning.
Good morning, Zipora. How are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm all right, thank you. Yeah, it's quite an exciting program that we, as always, we've laid down for our viewers out there, and we'll be expecting calls from them, contribution on the topic. You must be aware that we're having two topics in today's editions, and that has to do with the mining activities on the Lower Zambezi, and the other one has to do with the mini mill and other commodity prices. So we'll be having guests to help us discuss those two topics, and we hope that people will be actually interacting and also just give their views on the two topics. Otherwise, that's what we're expecting today to have. Not to mention also just that we are not sports analysts or football analysts, but I was really interested to analyze the Senegal-Egypt match that we saw yesterday. I don't know which team you were supporting. Did you even watch the match?
I'm not really a football fan.
Really? But that one everybody was watching.
In 2002 somewhere.
No way.
In 4 or 5 years somewhere.
Should have watched. It felt like Zambia, really. Okay. Like you are watching and then everything is just like Zambia, especially for Senegal. Those who were with Senegal, I don't know about Egypt, but for those who were supporting Senegal, it felt like we are really supporting Zambia in that match. And considering that these guys, it's their first time they're getting that trophy, it felt like 2012 when we actually also carried that glorious trophy as Zambian team. So basically, those are the things that I was really interested to analyze. But anyways, we'll get to what we do always as per custom, just to make sure that you keep fit for the day. And here is your morning boost. Stay tuned.
Good morning and welcome to our morning boost, and remember always to try do this at home early in the morning before you start your day. This is not the main workout, but this is just to help you get started your day and keep fit. So therefore, let's go. We're gonna keep it easy today. We'll make some aerobics movements. Aerobics is good for you, for blood circulation, to control your blood pressure, and also to make sure that you stay fit. So we're going to make some basic moves in aerobics. Let's go. Very easy. We start with marching. Go. Good morning, everybody. Good morning and welcome to our show. Let's go. Step touch. Last one. Hamstring. Last one. Knee high. Last one. Lateral legs. Last one. We're going to put now all the four together. That's what we're going to do. Okay, let's go. Last one. And knee high. Last one. Stiff touch. Last one. Step touch. Last one. Knee high. And marching. Keep marching, keep marching, keep marching. We're gonna change now. 2 knee each. Let's go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Let's keep pushing. I know you feel like giving up. Check with your neighbor how many minutes you've done. Let's go. Go. 2 each. Now let's do it faster. Change. 1, 2. 4. 4 each. Last 4. 2 each. 2. 2. 2, 3 each. Go. And marching. Go. How are you feeling on your legs? Let's go now. March, 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 march. Keep marching. We're almost there. Let's go. March, 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 march. My producer is dancing behind the camera. I wish I can show you. Let's march. Let's go. Bring in a B step now. It was a pleasure doing a workout with you this morning. I look forward to another workout with you. Make sure stay fit and enjoy the rest of your day. This is Isaac Matsa, and guess what? I'm signing out. Thank you.
Welcome back. In case you're just joining us, this is when you're just starting anyway. You're not even late. We've been just having the morning booth, keeping ourselves fit. I hope you are following that exercise. So just about now, we'll be having Dr. Cheswa with the health segment, just to update us on issues that are pertaining to our health. And basically, we'll learn 1 or 2 things from the clip that will come. She will just get us through with that health topics, considering the COVID-19 situation dropping down in terms of the cases. Have you noticed that, Zipporah?
The cases actually.
Yeah, reducing, like we haven't had any cases, especially for the death cases. So basically, such and other topics will be updated with the help of Dr. Cheswa. Stay tuned as you follow through this clip.
Good morning. I'm Dr. Kaluanyango from the University Teaching Hospital, Department of Surgery. I'm a urologist. Today we are going to talk about prostate cancer. So prostate cancer is a cancer that arises from the prostate gland. So what is the prostate gland? The prostate gland is a gland that is found in men, and it produces substances that are responsible for the liquefaction of semen. So prostate cancer arises from the prostate gland. It is one of the most common cancers in men, and worldwide, it is the second most common cancer in men, with lung cancer being the most common cancer. So what is the epidemiology of prostate cancer, and what are the risk factors of prostate cancer? So the risk factors of prostate cancer are age greater than 50, black race or being of African descent, age greater than 45, and with a family history of prostate cancer either on the paternal side or from the maternal side, or age greater than 40 with a history of breast cancer in the family, what is called the BRCA1 gene. So, how does prostate cancer present? So prostate cancer may present asymptomatically, so that means there could be no symptoms, or it could present with symptoms, that is what we refer to as lower urinary tract symptoms, or it could present with symptoms of metastatic disease, and that will include things such as back pain or what we call acute spinal cord compression if it complicates. So, how do you make a diagnosis of prostate cancer? So, a diagnosis of prostate cancer is made on the basis of PSA and digital rectal exam. So, PSA is a substance that is produced by the prostate gland, and in prostate cancer, it increases. So, a raised PSA will raise a suspicion of prostate cancer, and that, coupled with a digital rectal exam, is also used in the diagnosis of prostate cancer, with a definitive diagnosis of prostate cancer being made on biopsy of the prostate gland. So, in view of this, how is prostate cancer managed, and why is it important to screen for prostate cancer? So, it is important to screen for prostate cancer because in our setting, especially among people of African descent, it is found that by the time they present with prostate cancer, they present with advanced disease and more aggressive disease. So early screening for prostate cancer will prevent the progression to advanced disease, and thus it can be found at an early stage when it is curable. So, how do we treat prostate cancer? So, treatment of prostate cancer is dependent on what we call whether the disease is localized or it's advanced disease. So, you have a classification where you have low risk disease, intermediate risk disease, and high risk disease, where we look at several factors that include the stage of the prostate cancer, what we call the Gleason score. And these are some of the factors we look at when looking at the risk stratification of prostate cancer. So how do you manage? For localized disease, so this means disease that is confined to the prostate and it hasn't spread beyond the prostate gland. This is an opportunity for curative treatment, and in this case, we can use radical prostatectomy, which is a removal of the prostate gland, including the capsule in which the prostate gland is found, or radiotherapy. There is also an option of what we call active surveillance in low-risk disease. That is if the stage of the disease is not advanced. So active surveillance is where you postpone treatment with the intention of treating with disease progression. So this is an option for low-risk disease, that is very early stage disease, and it has found that with active surveillance, it has been found that with active surveillance, people can live even up to 25 years, even with the presence of prostate cancer. So what justifies management of prostate cancer using active surveillance is that you have to weigh the benefits of treatment against the quality of life. So you find that in a low-risk disease, sometimes you will postpone treatment for the sake of in order to have a better quality of life for the patient. So for advanced disease or for metastatic disease, that is disease that has spread beyond the prostate, prostate cancer is treated using what we call androgen deprivation therapy. So what this means is that we remove the source of testosterone, or we suppress testosterone production. So this can be either medical management or surgical management. So medical management is where we use drugs in order to suppress the testosterone or to block the points where testosterone binds on the cells. And surgical management is where we actually do castration in order to cut out the source of testosterone. The justification behind this is because prostate cancer thrives on testosterone. So by lowering the testosterone levels, we slow down the progression of prostate cancer. So on that note, what is the take-home message for prostate cancer? So remember that prostate cancer in people of African descent usually takes a more aggressive course, and by the time it's being diagnosed, the disease is advanced. So it is important to screen for prostate cancer if you are of African descent, if you are greater than 50 years of age, if you are greater than 45 years with a family history of prostate cancer, or you are greater than 40 years with a family history of breast cancer. In terms of symptoms, if you notice any change, for example, weak flow of urine, blood in urine, blood in semen, if you notice any of these symptoms, this should alert you to seek the services of a urologist. On that note, I end today's talk. Thank you.
Welcome back, and we've been having Dr. Kaluva Changu from UTH updating us on the cancer. So basically, yes, the other day we were just celebrating the World Cancer Day, Zipporah. I remember you covered that story. Oh, so I'm corrected, Dr. Kaluva Changu. Yeah, UTH, from UTH. So what were your certain pertinent issues that were discussed from the World Cancer Day that she was actually riding over, just to update us?
Okay, so it was about the different types of cancers which are mainly caused by tobacco. So I was being surprised, like people just know about lung cancer. Being caused by tobacco, but there are various types of cancers. I think even the same prostate, it could be, because I remember I was talking to Dr. Teddy Mlenga the other time. So he said that it also causes that, it even leads to impotence, if you know what I mean. Whereby a man can't have children, like, so the abuse of tobacco leads to different types of cancers and also impotence, whereby they fail to have children. So I'm sure that's something that we can all learn from. So that they were basically saying, in Zambia, we've got cancer care is still beyond the reach of the average Zambian. And yet these tobacco companies paying minimal taxes. So they are calling for these tobacco companies to be paying, for the tax to be increased so that the money can be channeled towards cancer care in Zambia.
Yeah, aside from that, the doctor is also encouraging people to actually screen and taking screening seriously, because you find that as Africans, really, like she was saying, we don't seem to appreciate the idea of screening. I don't know if it's a matter of culture or maybe fear of wanting to know what really you are having. But I think it's important to just go to any health facility and do your screening so that you can actually know at what level anything you may find and what kind of treatment you would have. So basically, it's important for people to actually get updated on that aspect regarding cancer issues. So right now, we're just going to jump into the money market just to see how best our day looks like in terms of trading and also money market. So basically, the Great British Pound is buying at 24 kwacha 0.58 in Ngwe and selling at 25 kwacha 0.07 in Ngwe. The United States dollars is buying at 18 kwacha 0.20 in Ngwe and selling at 18 kwacha 0.55 in Ngwe. The euro is buying at 18 kwacha 0.89 in Ngwe and selling at 19 kwacha 0.26 in Ngwe. The rand, South African rand, is buying at 1 kwacha 0.18 in Ngwe and selling at 1 kwacha 0.20 in Ngwe. So basically, that's how our money market looks like. We are seeing a bit of maintenance in terms of the kwacha dollar exchange rate. The 18
I think it's
kwacha.
going high. I'm actually scared. Look, it's almost at 19 kwacha. Isn't it? Especially the selling.
Yeah, the selling part is at 18 kwacha 0.5 in Ngwe.
That's really scary.
Almost 19 kwacha. But me, I'm comparing with the other analysis we'll be having is around this figure. Really, 18 kwacha, 18 kwacha, 18 kwacha. No, it won't reach that. Don't even say that.
It means $1,000 will now be equal to about 20,000. When initially, 4 weeks ago, $1,000 was equal to about 16,000 kwacha.
Wow.
Meaning the same amount you now have, should have like a 4,000 kwacha on top to actually reach.
And it's not every Zambian dream to have it at 20 kwacha. We hope it will start dropping soon so that you can actually have a stable money market there. So that's how our money market looks like in case you are going out for trading or any sort of business. Just expect such figures to affect your exchange and your buying, your purchasing, and everything out there. So that's how for money market. Zipporah, you mentioned in the preamble about our topics that we are looking at today, things to do with the impact of mining activities on the Lower Zambezi. It's a story that has really made noise, both in the mainstream media and also on social media, especially people giving their thoughts. I earlier read a student, should be from CBU, who was analyzing to say if those people who are from that locality are saying they should bring people, and the government should bring the mining industry in our community so that we can be having money, they should ask me. He was actually personalizing the issue. Me, I come from Chingola, where there's an open pit, largest to mention in the country, Chingola, but we don't do well in terms of even the facilities that they're in bad state. Yes, local, they are not benefited. Yeah. So people from there calling for the mining industry should actually ask people who have been through that process to actually, get an advice. But those are mixed feelings. Some are for the idea, others are not for the idea.
NGOs are against the idea.
Yeah, because you see, that's where the parks are. So considering the fact that the mining industry really have an impact on the environment and also the nature per se, the animals in that area. So basically that's a concern they are raising, especially for the 9 NGOs. But for those who are for the idea, it's about really the economic aspect of it. Yeah, you have investments, people, the investors will develop that community. So we'll see really how the story is unfolding. For us, the media is to monitor and also provide the checks and balances for whichever team will win or actually get them to scrutinize in that regard. So basically, we're having Mr. Emmanuel Tembo to help us with, will be stepping in a little shortly to help us discuss that topic. But you can just have comments from our viewers out there. What's your take really on the issue of the mining activities on the Lower Zambezi, given that it's currently a national park and a reserve for nature? What could be your thought about that? Would you love the government to go ahead and put investment of mining, or maybe you feel like no, it shouldn't be the case? So you can call in and we'll be able to discuss as we wait for our guest on that topic. So give us your call and give us your contribution so that you can interact. You may have information that you might not have, and you share your opinion regarding to the topic. So basically that's the topic that we're discussing, Zipporah.
Yes, and so maybe Alex, just to help us maybe for our guests out there to actually see what's really happening in the Zambezi, we'll just take a clip of the story that was done by Prudence Chota on the Lower Zambezi, where she actually the whole debate began when because people, when the UPND came into power, people were like, okay, the UPND is going to overturn everything that was done during the previous regime and all that. But then we saw a statement from the Minister of Green Economy on that should have been Tuesday, on 2nd February, where we were saying decisions that were made during the previous administration are binding. And that's as UPND, you can come and make new decisions, because if you
they signed the contract already.
Yes,
there are some contracts
involved.
involved.
Actually involved in this matter. It was actually
in favor of the investors.
Of the investors. So they're saying that legal issues involved, you can't just come and say because of the new Dawn government, then.
But the policies are policies. When you said something, they were not for the idea, for the record.
Yeah, but they didn't promise saying over 10. Did they say? I don't know anyway. But that was where the issue started, when the Minister of Green Economy said that we are not making any new decisions. If you know, this issue was actually set by the PF, that everything was done in the PF administration, and we're not going to do anything new. And that's when now people came and said all these things and all that. So we'll just take a look at where that story began. We'll take that look on the Lower Zambezi. We'll take a look at the story on the Lower Zambezi to see where everything began, and we discuss more in detail.
One of the 169 countries that are part to the Ramsar Convention, having ratified it in 1991, Zambia hosts a total of 8 wetlands, accounting for approximately 19% of Zambia's total area. Regardless policies in place in a bid to conserve these natural resources, wetlands in Zambia are under threat due to urbanization, water infrastructure development, of abstraction, and sustainable fishing practices, mining, pollution, and climate change. Stakeholders have since called on the government to put deliberate measures that will protect wetlands from being tampered with, as ways of fighting effects of climate change. Billy Lombe is founder and chief executive officer of the Center for Zero Waste and Development in Africa.
Causing havoc to nature and people. So wetlands play an important role in such. And also for this, we should, I think it's very important that we take keen interest in taking action and protecting our wetlands, especially that in 2018, the government launched the first national policy on wetlands. And of course, that shows the government commitment in dealing with the issues that threaten our wetlands. And it has this opportunity, and we take this opportunity to urge our president and our government to take keen interest in taking action against mining in Lower Zambezi National Park.
And the Lusaka-based environmental expert, Kasi Kalande, has condemned the tendency of tampering with natural resources, citing the mining activity on the Lower Zambezi.
Okay, reserve them, conserve them for sustainable use for our future generations. Okay, so we are simply saying no to any anthropogenic activities that will alter the ecosystem of these areas, such as the Lower Zambezi National Park. Okay, we are saying no because water resources are very important for our country, and we are calling for government to ensure that these areas are protected, are conserved for sustainable use in our agricultural activities.
Alex Shimba, Kamni News in Lusaka.
The topic of allowing mining activities in the Lower Zambezi has been a heated one among stakeholders, as some have been raising environmental concerns and threats to wildlife that these activities would bring, as well as the need for the preservation of tourism. In a press statement dated 2nd February 2022, Minister of Green Economy and Environment Mr. Collins Nzovu said the decision for Mwembeshi Resources Limited to conduct mining in the area was made during the Patriotic Front government, adding that decisions taken by previous governments are binding. In 2014, the Ministry of Lands, Natural Resources and Environmental Protection granted the appeal by Mwembeshi Resources Limited to conduct mining activities in the area, overturning the objection from the Zambia Environmental Management Agency, a decision which was stayed by the High Court. In adding his voice, Fera Constituency Member of Parliament Mr. Emmanuel Tembo says the project of mining in the Lower Zambezi has been misconstrued to paint a negative picture of the activity. Addressing the media Saturday, Mr. Tembo says contrary to the picture being painted, the mining activities will only take a small portion of the area away from wildlife and the river. He adds that allowing mining activities will help in creating jobs for the local people and help government attain its target of exporting 3 million tons of copper.
The mine will also build local businesses, not only in Luangwa, but other towns, through supply of goods and services, such as transportation, business, food, local lodges, housing, and other players in the value chain. Indeed, a large-scale mine, whether you like it or not, is just a natural way of triggering off other economic activities. Because a mine, for instance, will require its workers to eat, and it was a heavy job, so there will be a lot of food that required. So the people in the district, the production will be forced to go up, and they will have an easy market. Right now, one of the issues is the market. So we have chickens, we have goats, and all these are the issues. So this is a very important aspect to us, and indeed, we look forward.
Mr. Tembo further says conducting mining activities has the full support of the main chiefs in the area, namely Chief Mpuka and Chief Mbuluma.
As a people of Luangwa, we are ready to fight for the mine to remain open until the last drop of blood. And if the doomsayers are ready, we will take them on, whether legally or physically or whichever way. There is a threat that yes, when they are doing a petition, we allow them. Okay? We are their own way. If they demonstrate, the people of Luangwa are ready to come and demonstrate. The entire population will be brought here. That's how much we want the mine. So even as I summarize, it is very clear that those opposing the mine are based on misinformation, ignorance, and indeed, these are people that are suffering from colonial hangover. They have not lived there. Others have not even stepped there. They have not stepped there to see what is happening. So even as I say this, the mine must open, and there's no option.
Meanwhile, Luangwa Establishment Chairperson Mr. Joseph Felemenga says apart from the creation of jobs and other social services, the developer will also pay taxes to government and improve its revenue base. The above stakeholders have vowed to push for mining in the area until the same is realized, stating that it is for the benefit of the local community. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka. There you have it, a story on the Lower Zambezi, on mining in the Lower Zambezi. We have been joined by Fera Constituency Member of Parliament, Mr. Emmanuel Tembo. Welcome to the show, Mr. Tembo.
Thank you, Deborah. Good morning, and good morning, viewers.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, how are you?
You are welcome.
Okay, great. In fact, let me say that I'm so happy to be here. The last time I was here, I came here, I was invited to worship from the church, but I'm glad that, the studio is here now, and we're able to talk to the people of Zambia through this channel. Thank you very much.
All right. And so we've heard a lot of contention even about the Lower Zambezi. And last time during your press briefing, you mentioned that many people have not even actually been there. Can you just tell us exactly how, how is the stretch of land, where are the animals, are they near the place where the mine is supposed to be, or how is the whole issue concerning Lower Zambezi?
Indeed, Deborah, I'm so happy that this morning we're still talking about this issue. Like I indicated, it's not in our tradition really as a people of Fera Constituency and Luangwa District to really just talk about this. We have our own peculiar issues that we are dealing with. To start with, as a district and as a constituency and as a people, we we have our own challenges. We have serious socio-economic challenges. People are living in dire poverty, and people have got no recourse, to sources of income. Households are living, they don't know what they'll live, in state of, they're not sure of how they survive the following day. So that is the background. Now, with regard to the mine, we see the mineral resource that is endowed in the district as part of our solution to our economic problems. And indeed, when the mine opens, we see that it is going to offer so many opportunities to our people, and also people outside the district. There are neighboring districts, and there are also Zambians across the country that will be able to benefit. Yeah, this is a large-scale mining project, which really will pull in a lot of money in terms of investment, and there will be a lot of activities. That way, naturally, there will be opportunities for people to be employed. There will also be opportunities for people to engage, the mine in terms of business transactions. I'm talking about Zambian people in this case. Then, indeed, we have heard that, the mine will disturb the ecosystem. The mine will disturb the bird, animal life, and flora and fauna. All these concepts. Now, before I answer the question as to the location of the mine and what is happening, there's been a lot of misinformation about this issue. One of the issues that there is an impression created that the whole game park, which is 4,000 square kilometers, is going to be turned into a huge mine. All these equipments and so on, vehicles moving, making noise and so on, and the animals will be scampered all along. Now, the mine actually forms less than about 0.8% of the entire 400,000 square kilometers. Now, you will notice that that portion is actually a minute portion in the game park, and it's not closer to the river as it has been, that is Zambezi River. We have also been promoting, the growth of tourism. So we have our analysis of the situation is that the mine can actually coexist with the animals. Yeah. Now, you see, when we talk about the ecosystem, which are saying to be disturbed, the ecosystem is essentially, it's a word which comes from ecology, the earth basically. So when we're talking about the ecosystem, it's the earth system. Let's simplify these terms anyway, Deborah,
Before I simplify these terms, let's just remind our viewers out there that the phone lines are open, so you can basically contribute, also ask questions. And we have in the studios Mr. Emmanuel Tembo, who's actually a fellow member of parliament, to help us discuss this issue at hand, which is the impact of mining activities on the Lower Zambezi, especially on the local on the local people. That side, the locality, what's the impact really? So now simplify the terms. All right, indeed, yeah.
When you talk about the ecosystem, you are talking about the earth. People are using these terms, so confusing. There's protected areas, human, wildlife, and all these issues. To start with, when you talk about the ecosystem, even here where we are in the ecosystem, okay? Part of the ecosystem is food. Now, if people are not eating, it means you have disturbed the ecosystem. So you can actually disturb the ecosystem by doing something or not doing something. So even by not opening the mine, because people will be deprived of their livelihood, which they've been deprived for many years. And I'll be able to clarify that issue. What happens is that you are disturbing the ecosystem because people are unable to get money to buy food and to survive. I'll give you another example. Apart from the child, there's we had a shootout in the district. An elephant killed someone. Then there was a reaction. The people attacked the police because they came late to pick the body. Then they shot another villager. Then this person is, as I speak, is in hospital, but he needs. There are many other people shot in the process. So this person needs specialized treatment. Then the family has been asked to look for money, and I can tell you, there's people Guira. And then, so I'm under pressure from my people because of economic problems. So this person, we don't know, is in Katonga Hospital. So I'm just giving an example how the ecosystem on the Luangwa people has been disturbed for a long time. Now, where the mine is an area called Chakwenga. This is where Senior Chief Mbuluma's palace originally has been. They were removed from there because, they were told there will be tsetse flies. So you move away, go closer to the Luangwa River. And when they moved out, little did they know that actually that area was very rich in minerals. And indeed, that was one of the issues. So this was done by the colonialists. And today it's the same issue. People have lived in that area. They've done, agriculture. They survived there very well. And there was a settlement before. So this area is 40 kilometers away from the Zambezi River. And the animal life, if you look at the pattern, because animals have got where they settle, it's not closer to the mine. It's very far from. Yes, there could be sound and all these issues that people have raised. But I'm happy that government, when they allow the mine to continue, they emphasize one important issue. That even as you mine, you should ensure that environmental issues are actually abided. So there's strict adherence to environmental conditions. Now, if you look at the Mines and Minerals Act, actually provides that mining can take place in the game park. The same applies to the Wildlife Act. What the law says is that you can mine in the national park, but there are conditions that must be fulfilled. And this is what has been happening from 2012 to date. There's been, back and forth. Zema said, no, this mine should not continue until you meet this. So Zema is not there to stop economic development. It's not there to stop, development. What is there is to regulate development in such a manner that there is no impact on the environment negatively. And you see, people say, no, the government has overridden what Zema said. No. In between, there's been back and forth. For instance, the original size of the mine was 12 kilometers per square, 12 square kilometers. But when they said that, no, you will not do smelting on the site, they even reduced it. So smelting will not even done on the site. It will actually be done outside the game park. It will be in another district. Yeah, so that was one of the issues that the mine had to abide by in terms of environmental requirements. Sound. The issue of sound also was there. You see, the mine will employ, as it has assured Zema, employ mining mechanisms which reduces sound or which control sound. So that the animal, because even if it's a distance, there are certain animals whose sense of hearing is very strong. So all that has been taken care of. Then further to that, I think the water, because I'm privy now, I've taken special interest, not because of me, a man of temple, because of the people of Luangwa. You see, I'm their representative. And this issue is not about, the have and the have-nots. I think it's more of the have-nots. Because people that are eating, they say, no, this mine can open, there's tourism. There's no tourism. Honestly, there's no tourism. Yes, you show animals. Yeah, but I can tell you, we are yet to arrive in terms of tourism as a country. And if you can see that the Ministry of Tourism is fighting so hard to fight, yes, we preserve these animals, but the value, what is the value? Then the other problem is the uncontrolled, mineral activities. There's mining going on. I need to emphasize this point. There's serious mining going on in that area, including other areas in the country. And one of the issues is that government needs to state up its act. Let them go in Lower Zambezi. I want, the intelligence, the security forces, the Ministry of Mines to take special interest. Tourism, what is happening to our animals there? Why is there too much activities which has been fenced off? You see, because one of the issues that the mine will definitely be able to open up activity there. Knowledge will start growing. People start knowing what has been happening for many years. And this has not happened in this country. It has happened in many other countries. For me, it's time that Africa woke up. Yeah, our president was just coming from the AU. And, I'm sure it's getting exposed that we, as a continent, as a country, we must move towards Africanness or Pan-Africanism, which, our forefathers, the Kaundas, Amilcar Cabral, Nyerere, and many others fought for. It was about resources. And even today, it's about livelihood. This issue is not about someone telling us this is a protected area. Now, a protected area, in whose interest is it a protected area? Some of, I'm so disturbed with the thinking of our colleagues. Yes, we go to school, we've been to the Western schools, but I think let's also embrace our African. I was taught so many things by my late grandfather. I've come to value it. I can tell you, as a small boy growing up in that village, yes, I had the opportunity to go to school, but I was exposed to many things. I've come to realize that Africans, not only are we rich in natural resources, we're also rich in knowledge. They come and steal our knowledge and take it out. In terms of medicines, I'll tell you, I don't even use most of these. I still use traditional medicine. It's not witchcraft.
Let's talk about.
Yeah. So anyway,
let's talk about the future.
Indeed. Yeah.
Considering that this is the early days of the mining activities.
Exactly.
In your area, what do you see? How do you see the maybe let's say 20 years, 30 years from now?
Yeah.
The impact of this mining in there, because we've been here.
Yes.
Yeah, like I earlier before you just came in, one person actually compared the Chingola town being in the same situation whereby people were expectant, hopeful that this mining industry will bring about opportunities. Just the way you are sounding.
Exactly.
But 50 years down the line, we are even attempting to chase the investors away because we don't see the opportunities. What do you make of that? Really?
So really, there is a narrative that the country has not gotten value out of mining. Okay? Just allow me to go a little bit deeper on that one. You see, people have said that, no, don't get short-term benefits from mining, then leave a problem for the future. Exactly. That's what they're saying. Now, if you look at the ZEMA Act, if you look at, environmental law provisions, there's polluter pays principle and many other things. What has happened is this. In this country was basically, if you look at Chingola itself, Kitwe, Wansha, and all these towns, they used to be bushes. They're just villages. When minerals were discovered, that's why today when you go to a copper belt, it's not like you're going to Fair. You are going to a modern city. Let's start from there. Ron Antelope, why did they call, first let's go there. Why do they call Ron Antelope as a Ron Antelope mine? Hunters were hunting down, then they killed an antelope which fell down. When they went there, they found stones which were exciting, and they were wondering. When it was discovered, it was later copper. And you see, so where there is copper, there are also animals. And because people needed to develop, that's how these things were being exploited. Remember, it was the BSA company that started mining in this country. At independence, we took over. We used the resources to develop all these towns on the copper belt. Now, I can tell you, where there's a mining site, we need to plan our cities. There's a place for mining, there's a place for wildlife and everything, and there's a place where people should be. Then, remember, we need to also interrogate, what is it that the minister said that they will be strict, has used a very good term, strict adherence to environmental requirements.
So we have to go on a...
Now, this is... Exactly,
yeah. It's a very heated topic. Hello, good morning. You're through to the breakfast. So kindly speak up. You are kind of low. Your contribution, your name, where you're calling us from, and your contribution. Kindly speak up.
Hello?
Yes.
Hello?
We can hear you. Your contribution.
Yes. The topic is my friend. I'm sure you know that this mind is true. But two, government just comes together. And one, two, that is nothing. But I don't know what. After that, I don't really say what. Not for them of this. No, but you have the right to the government.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, I think it's for the idea.
Of mining in the
Yes, yes.
Honorable, just as you answer that question, can you just clarify on what you earlier said that there's no tourism? What exactly?
Okay, indeed, yeah. Okay, first, can I also address the long-term impact of the mine, 10 years, 50 years? Look, what will happen is this. First and foremost, we have said that when the mine is operational, I like the viewers' views. You see, we left our villages to go to the copper belt, to Migodi. But we didn't even know that even in our area there was Migodi. If we did, we probably didn't have to move. But it was, it united us as a people. First and foremost, there will be impact on development, naturally. And like I said, there will be there will be about 500 direct jobs, there will be 2,000 over a period of time, indirect jobs. Then trigger off. A big mine cannot exist without attracting other things. If the president came here, or if when Jesus came, things changed. You see, there's always a game changer. So the mine is actually a game changer for one. Yeah, yes. So one of the impacts is that, lives will change positively of the people. Now, let me tell you, let's not judge the jobs and the benefits of the mine the way we are in Lusaka. You see, for a person in Wangwa, just a cleaning job at the mine actually is a big thing. A driver, all these guys, grade 12s who are just drinking kachasu in the villages, they will just a little opportunity. They appreciate it so much. I'm telling you. So when we judge it from our way of life in town, or the Americans judge it, no, they know less impact. There, the impact is there. You see, because where we are too low in terms of poverty. So even a little additional makes a lot of value. Now, I keep on emphasizing. Yes, they need to pay in the compensation fund, in the environmental compensation fund, money. And that's government, government, can you get the share fair of all these issues? And the viewers' call was very important. He's speaking on behalf of the poor people. Most of these people have spoken. They are not speaking on behalf of the poor Zambians. They are speaking on the elite. These are elitist because that's what I was talking about, the ecosystem, protected areas, this and that. Honestly speaking, can you look at the ecosystem in view of food on the table? This is purely for younger people and other poor people. This is a bread and butter issue. And that's why, the caller is saying, the companies are not as it used to be the case. I'll tell you this. If the tourism is not non-existent, there are 4, 5, 6 lodges dotted around the river, their activities are far-fetched from tourism. We really don't even know. And the people come, you have to go there by appointment. They pay money for lodging in Europe, not in Zambian accounts. That would have been different. So which economy is picking using our facilities in Africa? So people fly in, they've already paid the $2,000 or whatever, how much they charge away there. And it's in those people's offshore accounts. When they come here, yes, they will just buy vitumbua here and there, and what they leave behind is insignificant. The whole interest of tourism is that you bring your money here.
Honorable, then where do you think the opposition is coming from? Does it mean maybe our people have not really done their own work on the ground? What do you think the opposition is coming from?
So, I've analyzed the voices that are opposing this issue, and some of them, I must indicate, they are my colleagues. I've engaged some of them directly. And you see, they've continued talking about these concepts. I've asked them one question. Have you looked at the plight of the people in terms of how they are surviving today and that kind of thing? So the opposition is triggered by foreign interest. There are people that are getting interest from minerals, from animals in that area illegally. And I think these are the people that are funding these entities. And I don't want to hide anything. I want to be forthright and say anyone can challenge me. I will say, show me your account and where your man has been coming to pay your office rentals. So me, I'm speaking on what people want. But people who don't even know where it is. Yesterday, I was listening from a statement from Oxfam. Oxfam is telling us Zambians what to do. That is improper. How can a foreign organization really come and yes, they could have employed ones, but you see, they need to have a limit. Yeah, it's us. When you have not eaten, your neighbor's eaten. And it will not pain you, Yeah, but you know that it has not eaten. But in your feelings, you think that is okay. But the one who has not eaten, is so angry when he is hungry. So that is what is happening there. So whilst people may know that people are poor, they may not understand the gravity of the matter. This is a serious issue. Let me even emphasize that I'm from there. I know what is happening. I was privileged to go to school, yes, but I want more, and this is what I put before the company that will be mining. We want corporate social responsibility. We want to invest there. Our children are so brilliant. We want schools done. Because school also is a game changer. So this mining, we are not supporting the mine because we love the company that is mining. No, no, no. We have our own interest. Which interest is community development? Yeah, you see, in addition to what government is doing through our CDF and so on, we want the mine. We want a fair share of our mine. What made you, me and every others who had free education under Kaunda, it was the minerals, in particular copper. So even us from that mine, we want direct benefit as a community. And you see, even for the mine owners, they should be aware that as a people, we are too expectant. They need to pump in a lot of money. Annually, I need about at least 20 scholarships for university students. Because I have a lot of graduates who have done so well, but they can't go to school because parents can't allow. So at least as they might make their profits, they also sponsor the children to go to universities. And also, apart from the infrastructure, you know, just support in one way or the other.
Honorable, aren't we compromising as people of Zambia, really, considering that we are falling for anything that can even challenge or threaten our environment on the expense of us being hungry?
Exactly.
And having food on the table, we can sell anything.
Yeah, you see, this is a Christian channel. When God created the world, He created man last. You know the reason He created man last? It's not because it was less important.
Tell me, Honorable.
Yeah, He created man last because He wanted, first He gives him food and what to survive on. Then He said, oh, man, you have everything. So you don't create a person, then you start looking for food. So you don't have a child first, then you start saying, oh, what is my child going to? First you put in place what the child will eat. And that's what God, and God was wise. So these animals, everything, the minerals, they are for consumption of man. Okay? So we are not damaging the environment. And you see, God also gave us knowledge to think, even as we manage our resources, we need to take care of environmental issues. And the government has been wise enough really to say that there will be strict adherence to this thing. I would have gone into detail because I was reading the EIA report. And let me emphasize, those who are saying, there's ZEMA, the only authority over this issue in terms of environmental damage is ZEMA. And ZEMA does not stop development. What ZEMA does, it will tell you, yes, for now, you can't continue this. First and foremost, meet 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, and so on. Once you make this, you can continue. So, you know, you can't say that me, I will not get married, because when you marry, you know, women are talkative, they will disturb. No. You marry, then when you talk, you engage these things. You see, there's someone, I just want to elaborate this issue of environmental degradation. Someone said, you know, there was a narrative in the villages that if you take your child to school, a girl child to school, they'll be pregnant. There used to be that. So people never used to take the girl children to school. The reason is that, no, mkatenga mwana ku school, mkazi, azankara na mimba. And they'll give you an example. Have you seen? Now, are you going to also say, no, my daughters, I'll just keep them? No. You can take mitigatory measures. And this is what we are saying. The law allows that. The Mines and Minerals Development Act, the Wildlife Act, allows mining in the game park, but with strict adherence to these conditions that are given. And ZEMA is the authority. Not these people are talking. Yes, this, that, you know, they go and read a book, they attend a conference in France, you know, in a hotel, and they come back here, you know, copy and paste here. No. We don't want to copy and paste what Europe is doing. We want to do.
I'm afraid you're concluding.
What is the way forward in case you are opposed? What are you going to do maybe as AMP?
Exactly. Yes. So to start with, you see, it's in the interest of Zambia as a country for the mine to continue. It's the interest of the people of Luangwa, and the mining must continue. However, let me say that the people that have been opposing, they've raised important issues. But they are not important enough to stop the mining. They are important to the extent that the government, ourselves, myself, my office, the investor have heard that it's important to observe environmental requirements. That is a very important issue. Not that the mine should stop. No. That would be wrong. And let me mention that the mine has actually given in a lot of issues that initially they could have done, but they've been stopped because of environmental impact assessment, the addendum that was. So you find that what has really happened is that there's been a give and take sort of situation, and we have struck a balance. So in terms of it would be unfair. I think that we've suffered. It has already, the opening up of the mine has already created hope for our people. I've talked to youth groups from companies. I want you to supply to the mines. Be like your friends of the copper belt. Those who want jobs, get there. Those who are suppliers like lodges, food industry, and so on, yeah, start thinking about supplying to this mine so that you make money. I want you to be rich. I want this district to be converted. Not from the oldest, just the oldest and poorest district in the Lusaka province, but you see, to be converted, because actually as we stand, Luanga district of all districts in the Lusaka province is the poorest. So we want to overturn it to be more richer than even Lusaka. So the way forward, in a summary really, is that the mine must continue, and I think as part of global GDP requirements, and I did mention that 3 million metric tons target can only be met by opening up of these new minerals, and indeed environmental requirements. And we are in support of ZEMA, we are in support of government that strict adherence to environment issues must be done. Thank you very much.
All right, there you have it. We've been with Honorable Member of Parliament for Ferreira constituency, who is actually Honorable Tembo Emmanuel, in the studios, discussing the OT issue that has been trending on social media and also in the mainstream media over the mining activities on the Lower Zambezi. And right now, we just let him, we excuse him because he has other engagements waiting for him. But we would have loved really to continue with this topic, considering the impact. So we have opposition and also proposing parts, those who are for the idea of the mining industry and those who are not. So you find your place there and you contribute. Even when he steps out, we'll be able to get you through. So, Honorable, thank you for making time. If it was up to me, I would have been convinced. Like you said, those who are opposing, they don't have enough reasons to actually stop the mining. I love that expression. But anyway, good luck as you push for this agenda. We hope you serve the people of Ferreira constituency right.
Thank you very much. And you see, this is an agenda for the poor people, the majority of Zambians, not for us few privileged. And I want to emphasize the point that those who are speaking against, let them go and spend 2 weeks in Luangwa, in the villages, not in the lodges, and understand what we're talking about. Okay. And once they do that, I think that they'll come to terms with reality on the ground. Thank you.
That goes for those who are opposing the motion of mining activities. Go and lodge there for 2 weeks and come back and to see if you're going to have the same opinion over the same issue. We'll just take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll continue on the same trajectory. Stay tuned.
Camnet TV is becoming big and better. You can now watch Camnet TV wherever you are around the world, simply by downloading the Camnet TV app. With Camnet TV app, you only use less bundles. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Oh! Deborah Lukalu, all the way from South Africa. You are watching Camnet channel, not just another channel. God bless you. Stay tuned.
Welcome back. We've been discussing quite interesting topic. Zipporah might mention, I love the confidence from the member of parliament who's actually saying he's representing
area member of parliament. The same laws and basis.
Yes, you can imagine the passion for his people. You know, you can. I even feel those who are actually opposing are challenged a bit, not maybe much, but a bit challenged. So, what really are your views on the same subject, considering that the impact of the mining industry are quite massive on the wildlife and also nature per se, the ecosystem, as he earlier alluded? What could be your opinion over the same topic? As we get to jump on and another segment that is quite interesting, where we zoom in the stories that made headlines in yesterday's bulletin, and one of them has to do with the wetlands it earlier played. But on 2nd February, the world commemorated the World Wetlands Day in Central Province, where we had the Minister of the Green Economy on board, the ZEMA on board, WWF and other stakeholders really commenting on the importance of protecting the wetlands. You must be aware that we have about 8 wetlands in Zambia. Those that actually play a very crucial role in conserving the water, underground water, and also other things that they contribute to nature. So basically we have 2 environmentalists who were commenting on the same over the weekend. And let's just take a look. We're having Billy Lombe and also another environmentalist, Lusaka based, was commenting on the importance of actually keeping our wetlands intact. Let's check it.
One of the 169 countries that are part to the Ramsar Convention, having ratified it in 1991, Zambia hosts a total of 8 wetlands, accounting for approximately 19% of Zambia's total area. Regardless policies in place in a bid to conserve these natural resources, wetlands in Zambia are under threat due to urbanization, water infrastructure development, of obstruction, and sustainable fishing practices, mining, pollution, and climate change. Stakeholders have since called on the government to put deliberate measures that will protect wetlands from being tampered with as ways of fighting effects of climate change. Billy Lombe is founder and chief executive officer of the Center for Zero Waste and Development in Africa.
Causing havoc to nature and people. So wetlands play an important role in such. And also for this, we should, I think it's very important that we take keen interest in taking action and protecting our wetlands, especially that in 2018, the government launched the first national policy on wetlands. And of course, that shows the government commitment in dealing with the issues that threaten our wetlands. And it has this opportunity, and we take this opportunity to urge our president and our government to take keen interest in taking action against mining in Lower Zambezi National Park.
And the Lusaka-based environmental expert, Kasi Kalande, has condemned the tendency of tampering with natural resources, citing the mining activity on the Lower Zambezi.
Okay, reserve them, conserve them for sustainable use for our future generations. Okay, so we are simply saying no to any anthropogenic activities that will alter the ecosystem of these areas, such as the Lower Zambezi National Park. Okay, we are saying no because water resources are very important for our country, and we are calling for government to ensure that these areas are protected, are conserved for sustainable use in our agricultural activities.
Alex Shimba, Camnet News in Lusaka.
There you have it. Those were 2 environmentalists analyzing the issue of the wetlands and also touching on the bit about the mining activities in Lower Zambezi, where they actually urged government not to go ahead. It's always it's always fine to take note of organizations really who are taking interest in urging the government not to go that route. Or do you think they have some hidden agendas or interests?
Anyway, like the MP was saying, we don't know anything.
Yeah.
It would be better maybe for media personnel to actually go and assess for themselves an independent opinion.
Exactly.
Shown how far is the proposed site for the mine, how far is it from the animals, and that's why we make our own assessment.
Because we're talking of
the area.
It's an open pit. It's not just a mining, open pit. And when you see the Chingola open pit, the impact really, and it's vast, it goes vast. So talking of 50 years from now, we expect it to grow, definitely to grow. It's an industry that has potential to grow. And so those are the things that they are putting into consideration to analyze.
Alex, we're actually going to have the Worldwide Fund for Nature, WWF, actually going to give us the perspective. So today we had the area MP who is for the idea, and then we're going to have Worldwide Fund for Nature.
Against
their reasoning, because according to what the MP was saying, he said it's fact. So I'm sure we're going to hear the reasoning of the people who are against, like what reasons do they have, so that we analyze maybe both sides of the issue.
Yeah, just it is important actually to actually give analysis from experience, just like the MP challenged to say, let them visit the area and assess for themselves. Well, moving on, we have Park commenting on the issue of selling chickens, and he was challenging that how come up to this time we're having foreign companies, taking these businesses that are meant for local people massively, though we have an open trade policy where everyone can do trade in our country, but Park feels like it's not really fair. Okay, let's just attend to that call and you'll get...
Yes, good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir. Your name and where you're calling us from?
I'm calling from Kalush.
Great. Your contribution, sir?
Yes, my contribution is that there is a difference between if where did they that created. How they used to talk to people when they could understand it. What I was going to say about this, when it doesn't money, and it continues to just because it is the process that is the better. We can never get one, it doesn't predict that it's good to have a senior situation. There are a lot of things, and there was no decision. If you can see if the person forward right there, after the what I said, they are now. After the letter, out and sitting with my left into going to be the same before giving in the culture. So it transform that because what is coming, the whole forward, the whole people, they are doing something other one. What is the rest one? It is where you should make supporting my safety, and then somebody use what was it? It's going to do. So it is let's see a real one. Thank you very much.
Thank you for that contribution. It wasn't really clear, but we could hear one or two things.
I think it was about concerns about mining.
Yeah, especially that it's coming from mining, a mining town. So basically, he has quite insightful points there. So I was actually just reviewing one of stories that made headlines yesterday that has to do with Park commenting on chicken businesses from foreign companies. Let's just take a look and then we'll discuss further after this clip. Stay tuned.
Among the commonly used terminologies in the Zambian economic development agenda is foreign direct investment, where the government continues to lobby for foreign direct investment without particular focus on locally driven investments. It is against this background that other political parties in the country have been advancing the Zambianization concept to ensure that citizens take control of economic endeavors with the view of growing the nation. The poultry industry in Zambia, which Zambians are fully conversant with, foreigners still dominate the sector. They are taking up the space for Zambians. They are equally taking advantage of Zambia's weakness to enforce laws by further exploiting citizens. One such incident is that where some Chinese poultry farmers were exposed for selling rotten chickens.
This chicken, most of the chickens that they are selling, they have already gone bad. They are rotten. So we discovered, I think we came across some, I think about 15 or 10 marketeers.
People's Alliance for Change President Andiford Banda says it is regrettable that economic activities that can be undertaken by Zambians continue to be dominated by foreigners.
Why should we be letting foreign nations to be rearing chickens? And today we should be crying that there are no jobs. It's because we are letting loose things that are supposed to be protected for our people. In the end, the same foreigners are not even doing the right thing. They are selling dead chickens to our desperate women who are resupplying the same dead chickens to the public. So we want to make sure that certain things are done by Zambians, because for us as Zambians, for example, we understand the culture. There is no way you're going to sell dead chickens to the public. On the other hand, for as long as we don't start taking center stage in ensuring that certain ventures such as block making are left for Zambians, we are not going to create jobs.
Mr. Banda tells Camnet TV News that the United Party for National Development Administration must provide its position on the need to ensure that block making and chicken rearing, among other activities, are taken up by Zambians.
Our first concern is with the slowness in the Ministry of Small and Medium Enterprise. As we speak today, there is no information that is available to the public on the operations of the Small and Medium Enterprise Ministry. This for us was an exciting creation, because we thought it is the only way that jobs are going to be created. As of today, there's zero information. Now as a result of that, we have seen that areas that are supposed to be run by Zambians, such as block making, such as chicken rearing, are still dominated by foreigners. There's no clear roadmap between the CDF and ensuring that Zambians take advantage of these opportunities.
Patrick Soko, Camnet TV News in Lusaka.
That was People's Alliance for Change President Andiford Banda commenting on businesses that actually should be meant for people of Zambia locally and running, not having them dominated by foreign industry. What's your take on that, really? We have the block makers complaining that they are not able to compete with foreign industries which are dominating the industry. Also the chicken business, which are known for our local people. What would be your comment on that?
Yes, and so basically the complaints have been that these non-Zambian nations have a lot of resources, so they're competing unfairly, where you find that maybe Zambia just has a small chicken run, but them they're doing it, and that because they've got only a small chicken run, maybe the chickens will be costly because they're trying to make money. When you find that maybe for the non-nationals they have chickens on a large scale and at a cheaper price, so that means automatically people will go to that person. So they're actually calling for some of those things to be reviewed to make sure that our local people are not disadvantaged.
But how can the review really look like? Is it giving them a percentage, or maybe you can only do business for 20% share or something? But that would be unfair on the free trade policy.
It is free trade, but
it's open trade.
Have to come first. It's the same issue with contractors. It's free trade, but about 20% has been paid to local.
Yeah. So the rest remains of foreign industries to take charge. Yes. You can go ahead.
And another topic, Alex, which is interesting, is that it's about the price of commodities. We're going to be joined by Mr. Juba Sakala at 8:30, who's going to help us from the Zambia Consumer Association, who's going to help us discuss the issue of food prices in Zambia, especially milling. I don't know when was the last time you checked on milling? How much was it in your area?
Yeah, it was about 155 from Chawama for 25 kg from Chawama, and people were actually questioning, like, there were promises that the milling process will go as low as 50 kwacha. But anyways,
50 kwacha?
Yes.
50 kwacha.
During campaigns. You didn't hear that? 50 kwacha, so. Yes.
But
But you know, there are factors in play.
In MMT, I think it was somewhere around there, isn't it? I
But
remember
you're
to buy minimum then, but I remember it was about 35 kwacha. Some it was really affordable then.
Yeah, considering different economic statuses, obviously, we can't go. Maybe buy miracles, really, because 50 kwacha buying minimum, that would really mean a lot for our local people, if that can be a reality. But anyways, there are factors that we're going to find out. Like you mentioned, we'll be joined by Mr. Joel Sakala, who's going to actually help us with that topic,
Because
considering the minimum prices.
The welfare of consumers. So they're obviously going to talk from that perspective. What do they think should be done to make sure that consumers are not disadvantaged? If you look at our 2030 goals, for example, sustainable development goal number 1 and number 2.
Let's just take a call, Zipporah. Good morning. Good morning.
Hello.
Hello, you're through to Camnet TV Breakfast Show. Your name and where you're calling us from?
We seem to have lost that caller. Kindly call us back and make sure you will turn down the volume in your TV and in an area where there's good network. So I was saying, for example, we're talking about 2030. We've got sustainable development goal number 1 and number 2, which aim to reduce hunger and poverty. And if we're looking at the dollar, which keeps depreciating, for lack of a better term, if you compare about 4 weeks ago, we were saying it was about 16 kwacha something, and now it's at 18 kwacha something, and this does not show the prices of commodities reducing anytime soon. So I'm sure they are going to talk on that aspect, like what should be done to make sure that the consumers are not disadvantaged. Because if we continue on the same trajectory, it may be a challenge for us to actually reduce poverty and hunger by 2030, in 8 years' time from now.
Yeah, and from the recent research that the JCTR did, where they're indicating that an average family can, the cost of living is going towards 10,000, you know, and that has to do with just the basic food basket. Yes, just the basic food. Yes, 10,000. What about other things that, you know, when you bring in the fuel issue, you bring in the electricity part, the water, all those things, how much would it be? So basically, there are factors that are in play, considering obviously the foreign exchange, the money exchange rate that has to be affected from the foreign countries. So basically, these are some of the issues that we're going to be discussing with Mr. Sakala. And before you just join us, you can still make a call and also contribute, giving your analysis of the pricings and also how has it been for you really in your area, considering the prices that we have on currently.
And Alex, another thing I do have always wondered, when you go to rural areas, or maybe let me just say smaller towns, why is it that the prices are relatively cheaper than here in Lusaka? Maybe you find there, for example, here we're buying sugar, 2 kg sugar, somewhere that should be, is it 45 kwacha?
Yeah, well, 2 kg? 2 kg 45.
It's how much? Somewhere there.
Okay.
Okay, below, somewhere 50, just approximately.
Yeah, 50 kwacha.
But if you go maybe to a smaller town, maybe you find the same being sold at maybe 10 kwacha less. What's really good today? Is it an issue of manipulation because it's a bigger city? Because if you talk about transport, most of those people get those things from Lusaka. They
order from,
yeah. So, but here in Lusaka,
that's a good observation. You find that even when you talk of rentals, really, in other towns, you find the house going 3-bedroom going at only 1,300.
In Mufulira,
yeah, in Mufulira. Yes, I'm actually referring to that because that's where I come from. And the other time I was just challenging people from there. Why can't you just increase the price? Because the price of the houses that they own. I know people would actually think of us as being extra because they are used to this range of prices. So I find that, but if it was in Lusaka, those houses would have been really pricey, you know, considering the status. But anyway, we have different economic status, like you say. There are a lot of economic activities in Lusaka comparing to other towns. So that could be one of the reasons, and other reasons that can fall in play. But that's a good observation. I've also observed that from the food aspect, also rentals, even the transport prices, they're quite cheap.
And I think the issue of minimum is more important, especially that now we've got concerns about food security, because Sakala is going to talk mainly about minimum. Of course, maybe we can say it's a liberal market, but when it comes to things such as minimum, that's a matter of life and death. So, for example, now we've had floods, we've had droughts in some areas, we've had armyworms. And so we find that it is during this time that sellers will try to manipulate prices of minimum, and in such cases, I'm sure the government can come in, or maybe the same consumer association can come in and lobby the government so that maybe they can try to set a standard to avoid manipulation on critical things such as minimum, because you can find that people tend to...
But according to the ministry, they are quite confident, projecting that we are still secured in terms of food security.
Yes. 12 months, but what about beyond 12 months?
Even maybe next year we have the minister, Mr. Honorable Mtolo, on record to say even for the next 12 months, even beyond, we can be secured in terms of food security. So basically, we've had a lot of harvest in the previous years, and we still have recorded a bumper harvest in the recent farming season. So the worry is about the impact of these floods that we've had experienced this year. What would it make in terms of food security next year and also the years to come? So we hope we don't go that route of having no food, especially the meal and the grains in the country. So
and
basically,
it's about how the kwacha overlaid. If you remember, Alex, a long time ago, I don't know if you remember the green 20 kwacha. Do you remember the green 20 kwacha?
yes, from the Kaunda era.
Kwacha,
It's a 20, yes. There was a 20 kwacha green color, then is it pink or red? 15 way. And then there were 100 kwacha brown, and then 500.
But you find that all those things now, because the 100 kwacha then is the it's the 10 way of today.
1 kwacha of then?
It's a 10 way now,
yes,
10 way. But
yes.
you find that over the years, our money can't really buy anything, and this is really raising concerns in terms of reducing poverty. You know, so really what can be done? What is your view out there as a citizen in terms of what you think can be done maybe to alleviate the issue of commodity prices?
We don't see the 10 ways. We no longer see them.
I think that should be something. It can only be found in shopping malls.
In terms of getting change, but people just throw them in plastics.
But what is the value really? There's, of course, if you put, for example, if you go in a shop, I have experienced it, especially at the time when coins were just introduced. You give someone 15 way, you give someone 10 way, they're going to reject it. They're going to reject it. But that should actually be a crime, because we're actually devaluing our money. You're supposed to accept 5 ways, they're supposed to accept 10. If someone has got 10 kwacha or 5 ways.
A heap of coins, and then just, this is my, obviously that could be an argument. Considering
But it is a crime, because that is money. It is a crime, actually.
How would you feel when you're the one selling?
I would take the money.
You're on record anyway. So that's it. Let's just take a short break, and when we come back, we'll be able to continue with our program. Stay tuned.
Camnet TV is becoming big and better. You can now watch Camnet TV wherever you are around the world, simply by downloading the Camnet TV app. With Camnet TV app, you only use less bundles. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
They were not there when God created you. The Bible says, I
Hello, I'm Deborah Lukalu, all the way from South Africa. You are watching Camnet channel, not just another channel. God bless you. Stay tuned.
Testify. We celebrate for all you've done, Lord. We give you all the praise. Oh, we testify. We celebrate. Oh, Lord, we give you all the praise.
Welcome back. We'll be just joining by the ZACA Executive Director, Mr. Sakala, who just help us to actually discuss the topic at hand of mealie meal and commodity prices. And really the phone calls are open and you can have your contribution and your take on the subject, considering what's happening in your area, and you can just give us an update of how much are commodities in your area and what's your take on that subject. Zipporah.
Yes, definitely. And so, like I was saying, Alex, we're still looking at the issue of high commodity prices and its effect on citizens. Like you were saying earlier, I was actually interested because I didn't hear the part of 50 quarter million in the promises, but like you said,
yes.
Yeah, you said that people are expecting to see the prices of commodities reduced. And so, what is your take on the matter? What measures would you advise the government maybe to take in terms of reducing the prices of commodities? And basically, what effect is the prices of commodities? What effect is it having on you and your family? So do call us on the lines that are showing, and we'd like to hear your view on the matter, because there have been concerns about the high prices of mealie meal, and especially with the fluctuation of the fuel. Where we've had like this month, we have fuel at this price, and that month, fuel at that price. So whether it's a reduction or an increase, people are not really reducing the prices of commodities, because they feel like the reductions are only artificial, they're temporal, reductions. And so basically, what is your view out there, or what do you feel as a community which would like the government to do for you in order to make sure that your livelihood is improved?
And it was actually interesting to note when I was there in the area, Charama to be specific, where the prices actually changed within a week. So it was initially at 150 and then changed to 155 within a week. So I was asking the person who was selling it, what could be the factors that really we don't know, but as we just receive the prices as they come from the millers.
And that's interesting, Alex, because you find that maybe a shop just loaded, a shop loaded, when prices increase, even if they increase, they'll say things have increased, but that's old stock really.
Yes.
That's old stock.
Logically speaking, they take it out also as we need to increase, even when they actually ordered at a very lower price, but they automatically do that. So it was an advantage for them. They are really having much in terms of profit, but also considering that these prices are regulated, there's no way you can just do your own prices, but they are affected by the millers, the grain pricings. So it's a chain really. You get to consider things that are affecting the prices. So you can't just point fingers on a particular, or the millers are causing, or the grain sellers are causing, or even the ones who are selling in the shops are causing it's just a general impact on the commodities really. It's not just for mealie meal like we've earlier alluded to, but other commodities that are quite pricey. You know, it's just on the lighter note, it's now that you can't pack like fully packed trolley when you get in ShopRite, for instance, or Pick and Pay, or any supermarket with a 1,000 like we used to buy. I don't know if you remember those days when you get with a 1,000 in any store, you come back with a lot of stuffs packed. You know, that biggest trolley packed with stuff really, because you have really a lot of money. But considering nowadays, you find that even a 1,000 really, it's not much.
And should we go back to the time when, I don't know anyway, I was not there, but I'm sure our older generation can help us maybe analyze the issue, where during the time of Kaunda, where people used to get mealie meal. Is it that they were getting the mealie meal for free? I'm sure you heard that story. They were
through the window.
Where they were lining up just to have one bag of mealie meal. There was a time of hunger. I think there was a time when, that should have been 1993, when there was a period of hunger in the country. So should we declare, because if you remember in 2019 when we had the drought situation, we found that these people were actually being assisted. So how is the hunger situation really in the country with the increase of price commodities? Maybe people like CSPR and whether they can help us maybe to assess like should hunger be declared an emergency in some areas of the country, especially with the floods, because the floods have further increased vulnerabilities.
Yeah.
We expect poverty to increase further. So basically, what is the issue? Should these areas be given minimum?
But again, if you come to look at it on the international image, Zambia would be looked at very poor.
Was it yesterday in
Kasupe?
Kasupe.
Yeah, Kasupe. Yeah, I heard the story about the
where actually, I think the MP, the councillor actually tried to send some videos, although there were no people who were talking in the videos. So basically, it has just left a trail of destruction. Or find that houses are destroyed. So you see that this is actually increasing poverty.
Yeah.
So now the concern is what impact does
my aspect is, do we really rush to declare, that
in some specific areas, affected areas?
Let's talk of the image also. What kind of image are we projecting at the international front?
The MP was saying is eating. The difference between you are eating. I can say you're eating.
No, we've been poor. Let's just attend to that call. Good morning.
Good morning, how are you?
I'm alright, thank you. Where are you calling us from and your name, please?
I'm calling you from Mazengo South in Obama area. This is Reverend Mandela.
Great. Your contribution, sir?
Yes, regarding the issue of the water and dairy mining.
Okay.
I think that first of all, I'll concur with what the area member of parliament is advocating for in regards to moving on with the mining. However, it's important that you see the intricacies surrounding what was agreed by the previous administration and what it is that the current administration is intending to pursue in terms of, the legality surrounding that. It is important also to appreciate and understand that, the government of the day, whether it's UPND or if there's any other administration in place, they still have the mandate to revisit, you see, the contract and the terms of agreement and so forth, if they are not in the interest of the public or they are public concerned, so that they can either renegotiate or see how best they can arrive at a win-win situation. I think it's not also right to say because this agreement was already in place and there are legalities and therefore government will just allow the thing to go on. I think that, for me, doesn't hold any water. However, the concerns of the member of parliament is that I'm saying because he sounds, informed, and since he's an area member of parliament, he seems to also know the catchment area of the mine vis-a-vis the wildlife. And I think it's also important to appreciate as much as we need wildlife and we need to protect that. But of course, human beings come first. So the interest of human beings has to take, center stage. That is not to say that the wildlife and tourism is irrelevant. It's equally important. And this is why, there must be that issue of the win-win situation. And government in this case has, a bigger say and then a place and a position of making the decisions in the best interest of the general public and the people of that area in particular, who should be, I think, the immediate beneficiaries of whatever, investment is being proposed to be put in place. I think that would be my contribution regarding that. And then on the issue of, the commodity price, these commodity prices.
Yes, please.
Yes. I think that, all these issues, they hinge on how we go about managing our economy. First and foremost, I think we have the issue that, we haven't really dealt with conclusively the issue of energy, the issue of electricity and fuel. If this sector is properly managed and we begin to promote, indigenous, innovation, such as, the one that was there even on campus, regarding, I think, one Zambian, or is it a group of Zambians that are able to produce fuel from tires and plastics and so forth. If we begin to go those directions and we begin to lower cost of energy, whether it is electricity or fuel, the prices of commodity will simply, begin to fall, because the issue of energy, I can tell you without, an expert as people would want to support themselves, that, it plays a very bigger role in terms of commodity pricing, because once the energy goes up, you have no choice that everything is going to shoot up. Because if people factor in the power issue, whether it is, somebody running, a small butchery there and so forth, the storage of those meats there, it costs electricity, and also the transportation, it costs, fuel. So once those prices begin to stabilize or they come down, prices of commodity are likely to also fall down. But if that is not properly managed, the rest of the issues and, the theories that we begin to talk about, how to manage the pricing, becomes a far-fetched issue. So for me, I think the energy plays a vital and, critical role in commodity pricing. So that would be my contribution to your great program there. The Lord bless you and have a great day.
Thank you so much for that contribution, quite insightful, where you talked of the mining industry, like earlier we're discussing it, the area member of parliament, Honorable Emmanuel Tembo. So basically he's talking about humans coming first.
Just making sure that you put in place those environmental measures.
Yes.
Make sure that nothing is
Not to say wildlife is not important or tourism, but where there is hunger, let's address that first.
The MP area said there's no tourism, just 6 lodges voted.
Yeah. Wow. I'm sure it's coming out from experience aspect, where we are seeing these people struggle, and when you say no to something, justify your no. You can't just say no when you are comfortable in Kablonga or anywhere eating. Say no with a justification. Are you saying no to environment and degradation? Okay, these are the terms of the contract, and we're not going to touch that. So that's his view. But also there's an aspect I'm feeling should be dealt with. We're talking of the nature of the mining. It's like I earlier said, it's an open pit, and open pit have a potential of growing massively. So are we seeing that also, like in a few years to come, will be having a lot of impact, on wildlife? Because when you talk of, is it Kalumbila mines in northwestern province, you find that there are also animals there. But people who've been there, they're saying animals have gone further from the mines. Why? Because they're irritated with the noise, the mining activities. So are we seeing that situation also being on a lower Zambezi? A few years from now, let's say 10 years, are we going really to see the animals on the park? So those are the questions that even the area members a member of parliament should take really keen interest in answering and addressing those questions. And he went on to say, our caller, he went on to comment on the issue of prices of commodities, where he's saying, these prices have a direct correlation with the energy industry. Yeah, so you can't reduce prices when the oil prices are high. It doesn't really
when they're fluctuating today,
yes, it doesn't make a logical sense in that way. It doesn't need to have an expert really to analyze that, but when the fuel prices are high, expect the commodities to be high, really.
So the issue is about stabilizing the energy sector, and actually I was talking to Dr. Charity Msamba from the University of Zambia last week over the issue of energy. And so she was saying, as Zambia, of course we're import dependent, but we seem to be more focused on supplying fuel, like making sure there's fuel to circulate. But then she was saying, what about if we also invest seriously in oil reserves? Well, we've got, of course, there's some, but what if we invest massively in oil reserves? We take it as seriously as we are taking the issue of importing fuel, like for it to be in circulation. We make sure that the oil reserves, so that even if something happens, for example, remember about 2 weeks ago where Russia and Ukraine were at war, and so you find that we're not affected by whatever is happening. Whether COVID, whether wars, and what I was saying, we should actually invest in oil reserves, as well as maybe coming up with maybe a course at universities such as the University of Zambia, where people actually focus on fuel manufacturing. So that was her take. She was saying, as a country who are reporting, what about oil reserves? What about us actually trying to train our own people how to make fuel? That would be like, those are some of the long-lasting solutions that she gave to the issue of fuel in the country.
Exactly. We're afraid we need to close the program. We were supposed to have the Zambia Consumer Association Executive Director, Mr. Juba Sakala. Now, due to unforeseen circumstances, he's not able to make it on this particular platform. But we hope he can make it tomorrow to just discuss this commodity topic so that we can have an insight from the expert who's actually on the ground analyzing prices from the meal aspect. It's been me, your host, and Zipporah Mshala, my co-host. Just say your goodbyes to your people.
Yes, I think my takeaway mainly from the whole discussion that we had, that was Lower Zambezi. Maybe my takeaway point was about the issue of locals benefiting. But like we said earlier, tomorrow we're going to have the Worldwide Fund for Nature to help us discuss from the impact that they have, that they fear, their fears that they feel that this mining will have on the environment, so that we can hear both sides of the story for us to analyze the issue and hear the way forward on the matter. And so until tomorrow, do join us at the same time for the show. Have a good morning.